everyone. Sairam, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Let's start with a small prayer to Swami. Swami, dear Swami, our humble pranams at your lotus feet. Make us your most efficient instrument, Swami, and help us utilize every second of this session to the best of our potential. Help us understand and implement what we learn here as we forge ahead in your divine mission. Sairam, dear brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us on a working day, the night before Shivarathri. And I know tomorrow night is going to be a sleepless one for some and joyous for all of us. I hear the State of Union speech by President is also starting now. So thank you for joining this one instead. Good choice. Starting with Swami's message. Swami says, the lesson of Shivaratri is that devotees should foster good thoughts, sacred thoughts. They should be filled with godly thoughts. They should seek to become one with the divine by reflecting on their inherent divinity. And that's what today's session is going to be about. If you have heard Dr. Suresh Govind earlier, you already know sessions conducted by him are not just lectures, right? They're very practical. Their divinity and spirituality serve to us in bite-sized pieces for us to implement in our day-to-day lives. Dr. Suresh Govind is a professor and former head of Department Parasitology, Faculty of Medicine, University of Malaysia. He is a recipient of many honorable awards, including the prestigious Malaysian Torre Science Award. Dr. Suresh Govind served as the Deputy National Youth Coordinator, Vice President, and President of Sri Sathya Sai International Organization, Malaysia. He has been instrumental in many national building programs in the country and traveled extensively around the world, spreading Swami's divine message. He has authored 7 books, mainly on human values and teachings of our beloved Bhagavan. He is currently the chairman of the Board of Trustees of Malaysian Unity Foundation and chair of the Sri Sathya Sai Scriptural Studies Committee and member of Prashanti Council for SSSIO. He has been involved with SSSIO for over 30 years now. And to begin the session, I would like to invite one of our Swami students and now an active Region 5 YA, Brother Sai Giridhar. He was born in a Sai family whose association with Swami goes back over 4 decades. With Swami's grace, he secured admission at Prashanti Nilayam campus in Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning in the year 2005 and continued with his higher studies, master's and PhD under Swami's divine directions. Swami blessed him with numerous interactions and many life-changing experiences. Sai Giridhar considers Swami as his constant companion and center of his life. Currently, he lives in Minnesota and works as postdoctoral associate in chemistry at the University of Minnesota. Thank you, brother, for facilitating this session. Over to you now.
Saram, everyone. First of all, I would like to extend a hearty welcome and a warm welcome to each one of you all who have taken time out of your schedule and then came for the session. So, and before we start the session, I just would like to share some of my thoughts on Shivaratri. Shivaratri happens to be one of my very favorite days because I feel that apart from the day Swami was born, I feel Shivaratri happens to be his own day because Swami being the embodiment of Shiva and Shakti, this is his day. He rules this day. And on this day, we are so blessed and so privileged to have such an eminent speaker with us, Govind sir, and to share his insights on the power of Shiva and Shivaratri. Sir, please enlighten us, sir, like how we can approach this day, this holiest day of the year, Shivaratri. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sai Giridhar. Sai Ram, by the infinite grace, love, and compassion of Bhagavan Baba, we are here for this satsang on the topic of tapping the power of Lord Shiva. That's it. So, what we're going to do is, I have a few slides to share. No, to share those slides. Okay. Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, dear brothers and sisters, a very nice, warm Shivaratri welcome to every one of you. May Bhagavan bless us to experience higher states of consciousness and greater amounts of bliss that will await this night. For you all, tomorrow night. For us, this tonight will be our Shivaratri night. So, whilst we are preparing for this night, we just thought that we will probably orientate as to what is the kind of approach that we should take in experiencing this night so that we can have a greater fulfillment. See, the whole idea is we have to light a lamp. So everywhere in every house, there's an altar and we light the lamp. And the light of the lamp, the illumination starts from the altar. But it should not stop there. Why it should not stop there? It should slowly grow into making the whole house bright. So there must be harmony in the family. There must be peace in the family. Then the light spills out, and now you should have street lights. So now your street, your place that you live in, the society, that light must be bright now. And then the light becomes more and more, and then we become moonlight. Moonlight means that the moon is receiving the light from the sun. So now we become messengers of that sunlight, messengers of that light, illuminating everyone who comes by, regardless of race and religion. And we continue our path in every Shivaratri, increasing our consciousness to higher heights until we ourselves become the sunlight. So the whole purpose is we must become the illumination itself. So it's no point praying to Rama, seeking Rama, but ultimately we need to become Rama, like what Hanuman said. We have to become the divine. And that's what Baba said. My desire is to make you desireless. My desire is I am God, you are God. I know I am God. My job is to make you realize that you're God. So therefore, there is a particular approach that we should take. Let's look at the life of the eagle. The eagle has the longest lifespan of its species. And this is a very interesting story, and I'm always impressed and very inspired by this. You see, it can live up to many years. It can live up to a lot of years, up to 70 years. But to reach this age, the eagle must make a very hard decision in its 40s. When it becomes 40, like mid-age, it has to make a big decision. See, what happened in the eagle is that the talons, you look at the talons, long and flexible talon can no longer grab prey which serves as food. For those of you who have not seen the eagle catching, it'll fly from the sky right from the top. And then when he sees a rabbit or something like that, he tries to grab it. But it needs to have very strong and flexible talons. But unfortunately, when the talons are too long and not more flexible, it can't bend, it can't catch. And therefore, it starts to not be able to catch its prey. And so therefore, it goes hungry. Then the eagle is left only with two options. Either I die or I go through a painful process of change which can last 150 days. If I continue like this in this mode, if I continue like this, living in this way, and look at all the other eagles who might also equally die, then I just die like that. Or I can make a change. And then there are some eagles who decide to change. And the process then requires the eagle to fly to a mountain top and sit on its nest. It goes right to the mountain top. It sits on its nest. And now comes the sadhana, the tapas. The eagle knocks its beak against a rock until it plucks it out. It knocks its beak against a rock because the beak has also become very, very blunt. So it knocks and knocks and knocks. After plucking it out, the eagle will wait for a new beak to grow. Watch it. The whole beak now has to change to form a sharper beak. Then with the beak, it will pluck out its talons. So the talons now become sharper, more flexible and all that. This entire process takes about 150 days. And after 5 months, the eagle takes its famous flight of rebirth and lives for another 30 more years. You listen to this story, it's amazing. The eagle wants to live, wants to change, wants to move, wants to become another version of that eagle in order for it to live another 30 years. And this is the inspiring story of the point, change is the changeless constant. Unless we change, we will continue to be in the same mode. We have to change. Therefore, the Maha Shivaratri is a powerful occasion for us to change. This is Ganga River. if Ganga river is flowing like this with water, if we come with a spoon, we only can take a spoonful of water. If we come with a glass, we will go with a glass of water. But if we have very big bucket, then we can take buckets of water. So therefore, Ganga knowledge is the same, experience that is the same. The approach that we take to Ganga is what that makes the difference. What is the quantity? What is the aptitude? What is the approach that we make is what that is going to become a difference. It's like a wedding. The visitor to a normal wedding ceremony who's just casual visitor and just sits there and then, talks to his friends, and then he gives his present, and then he goes and have his food and say, thank you, goodbye, and go off. It just becomes an unimpressionable memory. That's just an occasion. So when you become a close friend, it quite be different now. Then you are earnest, then you're making sure that your friend is really getting ready to come to the dais and so on. So that earnestness and participation is quite different. Now come to a family, a relative. Relative will be quite different. He will be now receiving guests and he will be doing all the other stuff. And a closer relative, a family member, even more earnest, he will climb onto the stage. He will make sure the arrangements are even better. Then the father and mother will be more anxious. He'll be more ensuring that guests are okay, food is okay, everything okay. But compared to the bride and the groom, nobody else will have more higher impression of that particular day, because they are the ones who are going to get married. Don't forget, everybody is having the same event, but it all depends upon the intensity of our participation and the mental preparedness of that event. Therefore, the whole idea is that Shivaratri will come and Shivaratri will go, but the whole purpose is that how we are going to get engaged will largely depend upon what is the intensity of our approach and the way in which we see that particular festival in our bosom. So the whole idea is that this is a very unique event. This is in fact, most of the time in many months, there are lots of festival. But in this festival, it's quite different. And why is that so? This is the normal knowledge that we have, the Trinity gods, creation, preservation, destruction. What is that? Brahma creates, Vishnu preserves, and Shiva destroys. And we continuously say, Shiva destroys, Shiva destruction, Shiva destroys. But what is it that he must destroy? This is what we know, because it's the night of, this is the most amazing night. So what is it that he's going to destroy? So a ship can go, but a ship now puts its anchor inside. That ship cannot sail unless he pulls out that anchor. In our life, if we want to make a voyage to a deeper portions of the ocean or deeper aspects of a voyage to greater parts away from the shore, we have to pull out this anchor. But if we have physical obstructions, if we have physical bondage, if we have physical, what do we call, adjustments that we need to make, and we are not making those adjustments, this anchor will never come. If we have emotional issues, mental issues, we have got luggages of that kind, this anchor cannot come. If you have got misperceived intellectual opinions and we get caught in this thing, the anchor will not come. Therefore, the most important things, Baba said, less luggage, easy travel. So we have to drop these things off from our system. So if you look at it very carefully, poor teamwork, or I don't work with other people, or he's like that, I don't work like this. So we have poor teamwork. Then we have problems of overthinking. By the way, this session is also primarily, originally it was aimed for young adults. And so I've tailored this session primarily for them as well, so that they can understand the relevance of this festival. It is not a religious, it's not a religious festival meant to give a connotation to a date. It's a very powerful system that they have put inside for us to understand. Many of us at many points in life suffer from some of this overthinking, continuously think, procrastination. We have sadness in our life. We have loneliness in our life. We have poor prioritization. We sometimes feel purposeless. But when we get up, we feel, why should we get up? What is the need to get up? We don't have a sense of pride in what we do. There's a jealousy. There is a lot of envy. Sometimes lack of focus also. Sometimes we can't focus. We have too many things coming in our lives. We can't seem to focus. We have anger issues. We have what you call poor concentration and poor time management. A lot of things are coming in, but we don't seem to have the time. We have inability to concentrate. We have all these issues. And if you look at it, some of these problems or many of these problems or any one of these problems can be your problem as well. Inability to concentrate, inability to have managed time. We have, so we have got all these issues, and all these issues are relevant to only one factor. What is it? The mind, isn't it? This, if we have a controlled, curtailed, and regulated mind, these issues will not be there. But if the mind is not pruned and not controlled and not curbed and not regulated, we will experience any one of these issues. So you see the wisdom of the great rishis. They must have thought, oh, man is going to have this much of problem. There will be a lot of these issues. So what can we do? What can we do? Oh, yes. Okay. I tell you what. We understand the mind, thoughts are electromagnetic in nature, because then they're electromagnetic in nature, the thoughts have that kind of frequency, and therefore in order to do this, we will devise one way. What is it? We look around. I'll tell you what, the moon has got an influence over the mind. I see. Okay, so the moon. How do you know that? We can ask this. When the moon is placed in every one of the 12 zodiacs, you will find that it has got an influence. The type of moon, where it is placed and how it is, influences the personality. And that subject goes into astrology, so we don't need to go there. But the point is, this has been already verified that there is a proof. That's also the subject of lunar and then lunatic and all that. The moon has got an influence over the agitations of the mind. So this has been proven beyond, so we won't go into that. But just the conclusion part is, moon has got an influence over the mind. Then they found out that if the moon becomes the smallest, then the least influence of the mind. Yeah, that's it. That's great. So every month, on the 14th of every month, there is a Shivaratri. Shivaratri means the moon is the least, the size of the moon is the least. And therefore, their mind will become the least influenced by the moon. So if those days, if we take some precautions, some vigilance, and some fasting, and some spiritual practices, there is a chance that we can veil and break into experiencing the reality. Then they said, hey, listen, which is of all the months, which is the one that's the least? And they looked around and saw between February and March, this is the month where you have the Maha Shivaratri, where the moon is the least. Okay. So now this is a fantastic thing. So the rishis, the ancient seers must have decided that this is particular day. If this is a day that we give to them, inform them that on this day we become more vigilant, then this is a chance for us to upgrade our system. Just like just like in your handphones you upgrade, your laptops you upgrade, your telephones you upgrade, many of these things we get upgraded. So the good Lord must have, in a compassionate mode, must have said, since you're already going into the world, I need you to come back to me. And the way you can come back to me is when the mind become mindless. Slowly the mind must die. And therefore the veil is removed and you can penetrate into your Atma, and the Atma then will slowly bring us back into bring it back into me, who I am the Paramatma. See, the programming is there. This is the programming. So now, okay, that's great. So therefore, on this particular day, you have to, they have arranged it, they've organized it in such a way that we must now have a reverential attitude towards that particular day. Now, these qualities, don't forget, these are all qualities which we now is stemming from the root cause, which is the mind. Okay, so now the mind is also programmed to have belief system. I can't do it. I am not worthy. I must be perfect. Nobody loves me. I'm not good enough. I must not make a mistake. So these are the belief systems that literally regulate the texture of the mind. And therefore, the way in which we live our mind will be completely controlled by, regulated by, and influenced by these kinds of beliefs. So in this particular day, we need to upgrade our system. We need to change. Therefore, that's why I started the subject with a change. So if we have these habits, the only way you can do is recognize what the habits are. So the whole purpose is destroy the older self. That's what Shiva, destroy the whole destruction. Destruction of what? Destroy the older self that we have. Because unless we destroy the older self, new selves cannot come out. If you have cupboard full of clothes, unless you empty the clothes, only can you put in new clothes, isn't it? If your bookshelf is full of books, you can't empty those books, you can't put new books, isn't it? Therefore, day must die before night comes. Night must die, destroy before day comes. So destruction is the process of a cycle, and this whole cycle must continue. Therefore, in our system of evolution, we must move and upgrade our frequency of thinking. Our level of consciousness must go, so that our level of awareness must keep on increasing and increasing. So destroy the older self. So for that purposes, they prescribe a few things. What is that? Fasting. So on this day, especially like for you all tomorrow morning onwards, you eat lightly. Of course, those of us who are having diabetic or other problems and medical issues, then don't go to such extreme where you suffer from hypoglycemia, faint and collapse. No, it's not like that. Fast according to your own capability. So instead of eating, say, so much of rice, then you reduce your intake of food. Maybe on this day, you go on fruits and milk. That's even better, fruits and milk. Some people, fasting is for these letters, words, they add an E inside there. And the E is, then it becomes feasting. So sometimes we see very luxurious food, very lavish food now in the, they are staying up, poor thing, they are staying up the whole night, they're having bhajans like anything, poor thing, they'll be so hungry. So therefore, if all the ladies cook up some amazing dishes and all that, and make it like a feast. Actually, if they are hungry, they should just eat something just to keep the stomach satisfied. Yeah, because the whole idea is if the stomach is full, there'll be too much of sugar inside that will give them sleep. That is what that should be deprived on this particular day, because this is about the night of vigilance. So the idea is to fast and tone down. That means wind down. That's the idea. Wind down. Eat moderately, eat little bit, go on milk if you can, go on fruits if you can, like that. So you adjust accordingly to yourself to what you can do, and do like that. And if and slowly taper down, and then whole night, then you can have a beautiful experience of this. Also tomorrow, since you're going to do, you should have light activity. You should not strain yourself. If you're decided to go to gym tomorrow, don't go to gym tomorrow. Don't exert, then don't expend unnecessary energy. Fasting does not mean just the tongue, by the way. If fasting of the eyes also, that means don't put your eyes, if you normally watch television and movies, don't watch that movie, or don't read newspapers and get all the news of the world and bring it to your life. Or mingling, reduce that mingling, reduce interactions, just because the mind becomes more and more vigilant, more and more seek solitude. Yes, not loneliness, seek solitude. Be by yourself, wind down, don't engage too much on the phone call. If people are calling and gossiping and talking, don't go into all those things. So the whole system is fast your ears, don't listen to gossip, don't listen to this, don't eyes, fast eyes. So the idea is fasting is continuously the whole day you need to be thinking about God. If you can read Swami's literature on Swami Shivaratri, we have received the Satya Sai Scriptural Study Committee has released this time on Shivaratri. If you look at that article, that whole article is on the mind. Why we focused on the mind is this subject, because the whole idea is the whole point of life is whether you're sad, happy, joyous, successful, all depends on the mind. So if we take this night to make sure that the mind is under your control, then slowly you can master the mind, you can become mastermind. So the whole that is what this whole our activities are supposed to be doing. For the taste, I talked about taste, smell, all the senses, sort of like curb the senses and bring it back into your own control. So light activity. Now, remember Shivaratri is the night. So this is the night where we're supposed to stay awake. Some people say, is it okay to sleep in the daytime? The elderly people, because sometimes they need the rest. This is my own opinion. I've not read anywhere or seen anywhere. I really think if that's afternoon slight nap is necessary for the purpose of the mind to become more vigilant, then that's it. It's better to do that than to continuously doze in the night like that. So if elderly people, they need rest, then do according to what your body requires you to do, so that the experience becomes more and more conducive. So the whole purpose is still the mind. The whole idea is to bring the mind to this. So when you go into bhajans, when you go into prayers, even when you're bhajan, don't let your mind think of anything else outside. Let the mind come slowly down. Just anchor inside. And then you just get lost in that contemplation and that experience of that bhajan. Don't look left, don't look right, look only within, look within, go inside. So we see the mated locks of Lord Shiva says what? It implies, what does it imply? It implies that it is only a steady pursuit, a long pursuit. There's length of time is necessary. So sadhana is all about time. So the mated locks tells us that time is necessary. So I start my journey like this. If we are practicing this like that, then slowly, that night is spent in vigilance. Number two, when to keep this time, pay attention to yourself. What am I supposed to change? What is it that I must now give up? What is it that I must now think about these things, that tomorrow morning, if you're an angry person, what am I supposed to give up? Can I give up? I become less angry. This is what I become, leave something behind. You upgrading simply means God. What is God? Get out devil. The devil qualities in us slowly reduce the intensity of those things. You are a very agitated person. From tomorrow on, lesser agitations. So look at the personality, your own personality. You will know what kind of person you are, what sort of person you are, and how do you increase your versions of it. Look at the snake. The snake is wrapped around Shiva's head. What does the snake represent? Ego. Ego is what in us, but in Shiva's case, he has taken it and wrapped it on. That means it's like a adorn. He has adorned that snake as an ego. It's like some kind of cosmetics is put like that in the side there. What does it imply? It implies that it must come under our control. Ego must not control us, but we must control that to such an extent that it is necessary for me to go to work, because it is necessary for me to do all these things in the world, but then I dedicate every part of this to God. That kind of realization must come inside. There are lots, this symbolism of Lord Shiva in this particular thing itself can go for 1 hour. Every aspect of Lord Shiva can be detailed, it can be explained in great detail, but the whole idea is that to become vigilant. You know, also in Lord Shiva, his neck is Nilaganta, blue color. Nilaganta means the halala poison that came out from the churning of the ocean, where the halala poison came out, and that poison would have fallen onto the ground, and all earth would have suffered. But Lord Shiva swallowed it, and then Parvati went and held his neck so that the poison is stuck in the neck. It's a very important concept in the whole life. In life, one thing is that that don't allow the contamination of the world to poison the heart. Neither should it go up to the head and poison your ideals and poison your head. It's okay to remain at the neck. In other words, 2 areas of your life, head and heart, must never get contaminated with the worldly things in the world. This is a very important quality for us to retain what? Retain our purity. So the whole idea of spirituality is retain purity. Shiva gives us a good example to keep our purity, because only with purity can you get serenity, sanctity, stability, and all that. So what happens in the world, oh, this is happening like that. That is when we get terribly excited, and then we swallow all these things in our life. And that's when the purity is getting affected. And that is where the disturbance takes place. Baba said in SSSIO Speaks and in many other parts, why is it that those days people meditated, they got realization, they got experiences? How is it that you are doing the same thing? How come you're not getting it? Because those days, those people have less desires, less contaminated. Nowadays, when we have got so many desires, so many things, the same effort is not bringing in the results. So that is why we must never get contaminated. So Shivaratri is a day, hey Shiva, I'm coming back to you. I'm not going to be affected by the world outside. I don't want any more agitation. I don't want restlessness. I want peace of mind. This state of consciousness we must develop, prepare, then enter inside the bhajan hall. So decide to change. That means tomorrow night you must become, when you get up from the bhajan, when you get up from Shivaratri, there should be a new version of yourself, an incredible version of a new person that my God, your wife must look at you. My God, my husband has completely changed. The children will say, oh, Papa, you have changed so much. That is the kind of change that we must look at in our personality. So this Shiva represents the sitting meditating Shiva, with still Shiva, and all the symbols can be explained, but because of time constraint, I'm just jumping into the whole thing. Then comes the point of the whole idea is destroy the older self to create new versions of yourself. Look at this part, the half Shiva, half Shakti part. This is the conflict. You see, the greatest problem in life, the enemy is not outside. The enemy is only inside. So in our life, we have to now marry both the Shiva and the Shakti part of it to get greater harmony between ourselves. This is the harmony. That's why you see Shiva, look at the cow and the lion, both are enemies, both are conflict. Most of the time it is like you know what to do, but yet you'll find you will be influenced by many other things, then you stop doing that. So this is where we now need to make real goals and real set up the thing and get a harmony between ourselves. Get a new version, new goal, new higher vision of ourselves. The Shivaratri will become great momentum and great enthusiasm to change. Otherwise, it will just become a ritual. It will just become an ordinary ritual. Baba said, more important than guru is guri. Guri means goal. We must have a higher goal. When we have a higher goal and we aspire for a higher goal, the entire ambience of the Shivaratri becomes a useful platform to springboard into greater consciousness. So this is creating harmony within self. So I must from this moment onwards decide what is my personality, what are my inner conflicts that I have. I said early morning I'll get up. Then I find 2 days I do, third day I'm not doing. Again, your conflict. Again, you see, we are not integrating heart, head, and hands together. The integration of human personality must come together more and more. Number two, the left brain and the right brain must become more and more harmonized. Must not become excessively logical. I also must become creative. I must not become excessively creative. I also must become logical. So I have a balanced personality in my life. And this balanced individual will be able to live life moderately, happily, joyously. Therefore, we won't have this many problems. WHO on the 21st of June, 2 years back, declared that out of 8 billion people, 1 billion have mental issues. And the real reason for that is because we are not able to get a harmony between ourselves. So this is a beautiful picture of creating better and harmony. So this preparation also must be done. Then what else happens? They destroy the older self to create new versions of better relationship with family. So now you look at this family. This family is, if you look at this family, I go to Shiva, I'm having family problems, Shiva. I have lots of problems. I cannot concentrate. My family, my wife is, my children are like this. I don't know what to do. And I fall on Shiva's feet. Shiva comes out. It does with the Damaru and he comes out. And then he looks at me and says, what's your problem? He said, I have this problem. I have, hey, do you know something? Look at my problem, my family. You know, I'm riding on a cow. My wife rides on a tiger. Tiger and cow are bitter enemies. My son, Ganapati, he rides on a rat. Elephant and rat are bitter enemies. And my other son, Murugan, he rides on a peacock. Peacock, and then peacock below there, he has got the snake. The snake is there. The snake and peacock are enemies. So in this entire, and then you look at this picture, the whole picture is a lot of enemies are sitting together. So in spirituality, when you come to me, when you are coming to me, idea is not to destroy your enemy, but you have to destroy your enmity. And that is the highest spiritual discipline. So my friends, tomorrow, when you go, if we have some issue or something, forgive fast. Sai Ram, I'm sorry. Whatever that I've done, I'm sorry. Finish. Your matter solved. Don't keep anything in the heart. Shivaratri is coming. Don't keep anything and everything in the heart. If some issue with you have people with your relations or something, call them and say, I'm sorry. The day I said something, I'm sorry. Apologize. Moment you apologize and you say something and you diffuse that issue, you find that your heart is light. Your system is light, you'll find that you're better, more prepared to go into the meditation session or more into the bhajan sessions much more. So better versions of yourself in relating to your family. So certain times maybe you're not spend enough time with them, then more time you need to spend with them, with your parents. Or parents themselves have some conflict, then do this conflict. So like that, family issues, settle all the issues, because spiritual people who must become harmonious, like what we started, harmony with yourself, harmony with your family. Then you have what we call destroy the older self to create newer versions of your relationship with man, society, and God. And this is an amazing, one of the reasons why you celebrate Shivaratri is two reasons. One is, of course, the night where Parvati and Shiva got married. So they married in the night, so the union. So the union is how we showed the union of the self, the two selves of each other. So that is the night of union. So you see, the whole idea of the stories is symbolism. That's one level. But the other level is that the marriage of self and the higher self to merge together to become one entity. This Shiva is dynamism, in which the whole Shiva is dancing like that. This is the most beautiful picture. You find that this picture here, this is the Shiva Nataraja, and you find that in the body, if you look at this, the dynamism is, this is the medical people will accept the figure 1. This is how the body looks like. But this is the figure B is the new figure of the body, which is done by the new age medical people who consider body as a stream of energy consciousness, a total stream of consciousness. Like it's just a flow of energy like that. So, and the whole idea is that everything is related. So the mind, only now the body-mind complex have been established, and people know that anything related to the mind can affect the body and vice versa. So basically, the whole idea is that we need to become vigilant. And if you look at this picture, Shiva is dancing, and the dance, the meter locks is the whole dance is now. That means like now when we tell people, oh, where is he dancing? He's dancing in Kailash mountain with the hair and all that. So you look, oh, Lord Shiva is in Kailash, he's there dancing in. So people have some kind of, they will give you a funny look, and you look at that, he's stepping on the demon. So the whole idea here is that, oh Lord, the whole point in life is that in life, who is the one? Who is this? Me. You are dancing. What are you dancing on? On the ego. The demon of the ego is not dead, my friend. It is still alive. Still we die, it will continue to remain. But the key point is to be vigilant. So the Lord is dancing there on one leg. It's balancing like that. But look at his hand. His one finger. Look at that finger. He's pointing to the leg. You want to reach me? That the only way is to have humility. Touch the leg, reach the leg, become humble, and through humility we can reach God. So that is a symbol, a point pointing to the leg, demonstrating to us that humility is a very essential quality, and this whole idea of him dancing. Now, this dance of Shiva, if you look at it scientifically, there is in this now stands in New Delhi when G20 was going on. There's a very big statue in that particular hall. In Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi, there's a 20-feet Nataraja. And here is where Fritz Capra, an Australian-born, I don't know whether you have read, those of you who have not read, please read this book called The Toe of Physics. In Toe of Physics, Fritz Capra, which is an Austrian-born scientist, American author, he said, the dance of Shiva is the dancing universe, the ceaseless flow of energy going through an infinite variety of patterns that melt into one another. So he himself, an Austrian physicist, is now describing that entire dance of Shiva is an expression of all the atoms that is dancing inside in our space. The whole thing is just a dance. The whole atoms is moving now. The whole thing is moving. So in other words, it's dynamism. So spiritual people must become dynamic. Therefore, you cannot say when you become more and more spiritual, one thing is, of course, to go within, but the idea is also to express into life, which is why you find all the Swamijis who reach up into the hub up there after realization, they come back. Look at the expression of their life, vibrancy in society, vibrancy in reaching out to people, in correcting, helping, connecting. That is what a spiritual people is. It's not a withdrawal where you completely become passive and not at all involved in society, community, not involved in anything. The whole idea of spirituality is to be dynamically involved, become vibrant, become joyous, become laughing, love life, laughter. That is the kind of lifestyle that we must live. And that is what the whole universe is all about, dancing. And to demonstrate that dance, Shiva's dance is to show that this whole vibrations is now dancing like that. Now, how can we see that? Unless our mind becomes more and more still and more quiet, then we'll be able to experience the dance of Shiva. This is the Fritz Capra book called The Toe of Physics. And this is the parallel between modern physics and Eastern mysticism. Please type, if you have a copy of this book, please read this book because it demonstrates a lot of truth, a lot of science inside, but it blends both like that. And we'll be able to appreciate, especially the modern young adults in the computer age, and when we are living in that world, sometimes we need to read these books in order to understand the ancient scientists who conceived this or who developed all these things for mankind to follow. It's not because we are following a tradition, but there is a means for us to have a happy and joyous life, which is the end result of what the existence of life is. So look at this Fritz Capra's words. More recently, Fritz Capra explained that modern physics has shown that the rhythm of creation and destruction is not only manifest in the turn of seasons and in the birth and death of all living creatures, but is also the very essence of inorganic material. For the modern physicists, Shiva's dance is the dance of subatomic matter. It is indeed as Capra conceived hundreds of years ago. Hundreds of years ago, Indian artists created visual images of dancing Shivas in a beautiful series of bronzes. In our time, physicists have used the most advanced technology to portray the patterns of the cosmic dance. The metaphor of the cosmic dance thus unifies ancient mythology, religion, and modern physics. The whole idea is to come to this. Baba said, how can this happen? That can only happen when, number one, we must have the intensity for these things. How can the intensity develop? The intensity can only develop when we start to think about, hey, God, I only got a few more years to live till before we live this. we should achieve the highest. And that's what they say that if you're happy, what type of happiness we should have? 10 to the power of 18 quintillon bliss. That is the level of happiness and bliss that we can get. So the whole idea of life is to see whether we can upgrade our system and move them. Destroy the older self to create new visions for transcendence. Then we have the last one, which is the Shiva Linga. And this is where we have the lingam comes from two words. It's called liyade, ghamyade. Liyade, ghamyade. And the science of this is that this is not, this picture, this Shiva Lingam is elliptical in nature, elliptical. So if you look at all the orbits, the planets themselves are not circular, they're elliptical in nature. The orbits that they make is also elliptical. Huh? They are not round. They go around the sun, but they go around in an elliptical manner. And then once I also looked at, this is, see how they go. They go in a, not in round manner, but in elliptical manner. And then if you look at the cells, human cells, you find that mitochondria, the Golgi body, and all the other cells that you have inside the body, all of them have elliptical in shape. Actually, I have the TEM pictures, electrographs of cells. It was very amazing to see, and I used to look at the graphs and see all of them have this elliptical, that shape of the, the elliptical sign. It looks like, it almost appears to be the elliptical sign is the signature, God's signature, to demonstrate this whole creation that he has created. If you look at a tree, the way the tree is, the tree also is, when you prune the tree, it's elliptical in nature, elliptical. If you look at the openings in our body, eyes, the nostrils, ears, they're also elliptical in nature. So elliptical is a kind of a structure, and that is what it is. But the most important reason why I put the word transcendence is because the Shiva Lingam is actually a form, but it's also a formless form. It's a form, but it's formless. It doesn't have a form. It doesn't have eyes, ears, nose, and all that, like all the other God forms. So it's a form almost close to a formless state. So this is like one step more to the formless state. So almost coming to the conclusion that God is formless. God is infinite. God is everywhere. God is pervasive, like that. So, dear friends, we tomorrow is the day where we should seriously, very seriously take, like going to the gym. When you go to the gym, you wear a certain gym costume. You have a certain diet that you have, a certain lifestyle that you lead in order to develop the muscles. So like that, we must make sure that we have the spiritual muscles to do. The best spiritual muscle to do is always look for newer versions of ourselves. You should ask your people around you, what do you think of, how do you think I am? Can you tell me, am I improved anywhere? Do you think I'm an angry person? You should ask your people who are close to you, your loved ones. You should ask your loved ones in the center, or your people. If they are close, you should ask, because satsang is the ferry boat.
No, just make something.
Satsang is a ferry boat that takes you across the ocean of samsara. So the whole idea of friends around us is to tell us, hey, what are we, what qualities we have, how can we improve? What are the things that we can do? Like that, keep on increasing and improving, having better versions of yourself. You find that night will reflect to you a lot of good things. So when you go into these sessions, become vigilant. That means to say vigilant means be aware of your thoughts. Do not be carried away by your thoughts, but just stand by the river bank, watch the river flowing, watch your thoughts flowing, watch your thoughts flowing. So when you keep on watching your thoughts flow, then you find that you're not carried away by the thoughts. Slowly, you'll find that the thoughts will lose its intensity to entice you, lose the power to pull you. You find that you become more subtle, so more subtle. It is in that subtle you realize when we start to slowly experience other dimensions and other experiences that you have. And each experience is a valid experience. Each experience is good experience. That is your own experience and most valuable experience that you have. Once you come out of the session, then you have certain realizations, some points, and that is something that you should note down, that you should record down. And then when you come for the next Shivaratri, okay, how do you improve? How did you improve? The whole idea of Shivaratri is not a full stop but a comma. When you come out of it, okay, how is your life going to change? What is the new thing that you're going to do? How much more commitment you can do? For example, many of us are in the Sai movement, Sai center, Sai organization, we are doing work. So we are already doing 4 hours of service. So dynamism, how can I improve? What dynamism must I add in now? How many more people should I touch now? How many more? How can I transform people? How can I be excited? How can I infuse enthusiasm into people? So this should be the quest of every devotee like that. And you can only infuse enthusiasm if you are enthusiastic. If we ourselves are not enthusiastic and not happy, then it won't happen. Like that, if you keep on doing like this, the center will grow, organization will grow, people will grow, numbers will increase, and more people will experience happiness and joy. That's what this whole idea of spirituality is all about. And each person can celebrate and do it in any manner. The end result is that you have a joyous, happy, and experiential one in your life. So this is what I wanted to share in 45 minutes, the essence of what it is, but I'm more than happy to take some questions if you can. Thank you.
Sairam uncle, it was so nice that you beautifully explained that the kind of austerities what we carry out on this holy Shivaratri will help us introspect and thus leading to the spiritual advancement. But the main bottleneck what we generally face is that these austerities must come from within, like practicing all these austerities. But sometimes if we do it mechanically over a period of time, we may lose interest and it might fizzle out. So can you please help us out? Like how can we, like what can we do to, to ensure that we carried out, this interest comes from it. It is not mechanical.
Yeah. So if to drive a car requires austerity, you when you go to a driving teacher, you cannot just learn it like that. You have to have a certain discipline. You have to apply. You have to be vigilant. You have to look around. And initially, it's very tough because you're not used to the idea. You need to know where the gear is. You need to know where the brake is. You need to know there's so many things you need to know, and you need to know, make sure cars, people, you don't knock into anything. First 2-3 days, it'll be very tough, and you'll be becoming more and more vigilant. It's austerity, that a certain tapas is necessary to practice anything in life, to have anything in life. But what is your reason why you went through that training? Is because finally you want to drive the car. So that's what Baba said. More important than guru is guri. The guri must be very clear. I need to drive a car. I have to, in proper computer programming. If someone teaches you certain thing, you go through a tapas. Or what is this? What is that? What is this program? What is Python? What is this? So you go through the whole mechanism of all that. Then you learn. That learning process is tapas. Why? Because you want to be proficient in the job. Why? Because you want a higher position. Why you want a higher position? You want a higher salary. Why you want a higher salary? Because only with a higher salary can that girl will marry me, and then finally I will settle down and produce. So all these things. So you have a higher goal. When the goal is very clear, I don't mind the austerity. The clear point why we lose focus on the austerity is because we don't have a picture of the goal. So I'll tell you, my goal, very clear, is very simple. Why is it that continuously 30-40 years we are in this? Simply because, and this is something morbid, but yeah, one day we are going to die. Hey, I'm going to die. I'll be in the coffin. Finish, full stop, period. That's why Baba said in Jnana Vahini, those who are not contemplating upon death will never become a jnani. Baba said that. So you need to know that this is just a temporary. So it is very clear in my head that everything will pass by. Everything will just go. So I have only this short period. So I have an intensity to make sure that I want to reach somewhere and attain certain things before my time is up. So austerity is there, the drive is there, want to acquire, want to pursue, want to process. And it's never done. The subject is not boring, it's only we are boring. The subject will never become bored. You can ask the Chicago youth, we did the Prema Vahini for 4 years. The 76-page book was covered in 4 years. Each one, they dive deep in. So the whole point of the story is that unless we have that kind of intensity, because there is an interest to know and because it is there. It is like you saw a nice, pretty girl, and then the girl is there. I'm using on this Shivaratri day, I want to use an example. My intention is only to make everybody understand what it is. Okay, where is this girl? Who is this? Where is she coming from? What is it? The questioning is coming, right? The question comes in. Why is the question? I want to know. Why you want to know? You can know anybody. No, I want to know that girl. Why? Because there, where is she staying? You see, that questioning mind comes in because you want to know. Guri, more important than guru is guri. So I need to know. Once I know where, my God, she's staying this place. Okay, I need to get the contact. I need to, okay, you see, my progression of my ideas is to somehow or other reach there, isn't it? So I do that. I don't just look at the girl's photo for the next 7 years or 10 years. And then when I look at you, what happened? No, I only look at the photo. I never went to, it's just like looking at Shiva's photo and never going towards him. So that's the whole idea. The whole idea is once you have a goal, you must move towards that goal. Otherwise, it just becomes a ritual. So Shivaratri, just a Shiva there sitting in the Kailash there, married Parvati and dancing there. So what? What does it make to me? The difference is that it's dynamically showing me a life, showing me a path. Hey, come to. So he's inviting me. He's inviting. That feeling must be there continuously. Then we will be earnest. And when we are earnest, we go deeper, deeper. This is one subject. You will never get bored. Every other subject in the material world, after some time, you'll get exhausted. This is one subject, it becomes infinite, infinite. You touch a bit, it goes more. It keeps you, of all madness, God madness is the best. Swami said that.
Uncle, to have that goal, right? Like for some people, it might be easy to have that goal, but for some others, it might be difficult to have that goal. So, like, what are the various ways, like how people who are finding it difficult to have that goal, uh, would it become easier for them to have the goal? Like, what are the other?
Yeah. So let's break down that whole goal. We don't need to have a big, huge, big, gigantic goal of mukti and moksha. No need. Everything that I do, I must be happy. Full stop. Let's put that goal. Now I'm eating food. I want to be happy. I just enjoy that food. I want to absorb that food. I look at the food. I enjoy. I be grateful to my mother for cooking. I just want to enjoy this food and watch that food disappear into my mouth. I'm enjoying. I lick that ice cream. That whole ice cream is melting. I just want to be in the bliss of that ice cream. I'm happy. Now I read a book. I read that book. I just want to be engrossed in that book. I want to enjoy that book. I watch a movie. I want to enjoy that movie. I want wherever I am, I want to be there. Now, is that happening or not? Is
Living
that
in the present.
Yeah, being the present? How many people are now living like that? So being in the present is an art. You ask people and see, you'll find then they're in the office, they're worried about the family. You go to the family, they're worried about what is in the office. Each person, they are literally scattered everywhere else. Then you're not 100% in one place. Then how can it be called a yoga? It's never a yoga. So because it is splintered in 100 different directions, there will be not happiness. There will not be joy. That's why you see that half Shiva, half Shakti demonstrates some wholesomeness must come into an individual. Then only you can be happy. So for that, it has to be practice. We agree it may not come naturally, but you know this is the goal, then we must practice. And if you don't apply and don't exert, how will it happen? So this is why we tell the young adults, be involved, get involved in the organization work, go and organize certain things. Because when you're organizing certain things and when you're part and parcel of something else, you need to manage your family, you need to manage your career, at the same time manage all these things. So when you're managing like that, your mind is getting the training to walk on the tightrope, you see? But when people don't have the ability to do that, small things becomes highly stressful. Oh, I cannot do this. Have you seen now people talking, I need my time? Have you seen, no, sorry, it's not my time. Me time, yeah. I need me time. I've never heard that in the last 10, 12, I mean, the last, I was growing up, I never heard all that. But nowadays, we heard me time. I need my space. Have you heard of that? I need my space. Then you should be like Neil Armstrong, going to the planet and going to moon or something. But you see, the point of the story is that what is the space? The space is already here. The reason is because you feel overcrowded in the head. So when you're overcrowded in the head, what must you do? You increase the space. How do you increase the space? One way is spirituality, because spirituality increases your space in your mind, and that gives you a lot of avenue to accommodate. Once you're able to accommodate, stress will become much lesser. The real reason why stress happens is because we're not able to accommodate and make your space become bigger. So this is what upgrading the system means. When I said upgrading Shivaratri, upgrading system means increase the space, increase your capacity to do, increase your commitment. That is what the whole idea is, isn't it? So for that purpose, yajna, you do homa, you do Om Namah Shivaya, Om Sai Ram. You do the prayer. Om Namah. So the prayer, japa, the mantra, the rhythmic breathing, the continuous focus, the synchronization of heart, head, and all these things goes into side. What's the purpose? There is a peace happening, integration, personality is happening. So what happens at the end result? Capacity increases, your ability to do many things, juggle, you're able to juggle. Their stress becomes lesser. Spiritual people should experience, you should be able to manage many things with less stress. That's the whole idea of spirit. If spiritual people also have problem and don't know how to manage problem, then what's the purpose of spirituality?
Uncle, actually, we have a couple of inquiries from our spiritual seekers here. So
Sure.
the first inquiry, what I see is that how can Maha Shivaratri help us with our five senses?
Yeah. Okay, in the whole five senses, whatever that we're doing, fasting, for example, the fasting I just mentioned to us, the fasting is all the five senses. From the eyes, don't engage. Normally, you watch TV, watch this, watch movie. So the eyes don't focus on many other things that will attract the world, attract from the world things. So there's a regulation of filtration system in your eyes. Ears, you don't listen. Hey, you heard something? No, I'm sorry, Zaira. Let me talk. I'll talk to you later, please. So, okay, there's a restraint there. There's a restraint. I will come to you, but I don't want to talk about it today. Did you hear something negative? Oh, no, please don't. I'll come to you. Okay, see, there's a restraint. You're restraining your ears from listening to all the other things. Then taste for the food, the little food, less food, you're not listening, your hunger is not pushing you. You're in control of that, and you're just eating minimal to sustain. So all your senses are equally fasting for that particular purpose. The whole reason is like, okay, you look at the puja, when you go to the temple, have you seen the temple, the murti will be there, the curtain is there. Have you seen the curtain in front of the gods there? They close when you don't come for puja, they will close it. The cloth that you normally see, normal temples, the South Indian temples, you'll see the cloth is translucent. You will be able to see God inside, but it's translucent. Once you can't see. Then 4:30, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, when the puja is about to start, they'll ring the bell. So what is that? Ringing the bell. Ears are sounding. Hey, God. Then they'll sprinkle the water. The water comes, so feeling of touch. The touch is there. The ears have listened, the touch is there. Then you get the incense coming. Incense coming. Oh, the nostrils are getting okay. Then I see they show the camphor. I can see the camphor, but I cannot see you because the camphor is behind the screen. Then the bell will ring. Bell will ring louder. Ding, 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 ding. Then they open the curtain. When they open the curtain, what happens? All your five senses are strained. The veil of illusion is removed, and then you see the reality, God reality. God reality is seen how? Seen with that light of the camphor. Camphor is white color. White color camphor is burned immediately to vapor, isn't it? It never leaves a residue behind. So moment you burn the vapor, burn the camphor is white color. So white color, pure. All your thoughts are pure. And when it's burned immediately in the effulgence of that burning, you see the divinity inside. It's an extremely very powerful dramatization of what actually happens in the human system, in our system, where the mind is now pulled. All the senses are controlled. The senses are not receiving any impulses, and the veil of your thoughts are removed. And there you see your Atmic reality. This Atmic reality is the reality that we are supposed to experience. That's what Baba has always said. He never says, ladies and gentlemen. He never says, people of Chicago, region 5. Does he say that when you go the region of Malaysia devotees? He never says. He says, Atma Sarupa, Atma Sarupa. That is the embodiment. He directly addresses who we are. Hey, you are Sarupa, Atma Sarupa, Atma Sarupa. So that particular understanding is what this whole thing. So the whole Shivaratri is about quietening the senses and awakening to a higher reality. So this is the exercise. So in Shivaratri, you will see people, hey, Sairam, how? So some people, what they do is they go for bhajan, they finish that 1 hour bhajan and go to the corner inside them. Hey, what happened now? How was your thing? yeah, okay. And you discuss all the other problems and things. Okay, Sairam, brother, your turn to sing. Okay, brother, I'll come. Sorry, excuse me, I have to go and sing now. So this is that you're breaking the seamless tranquility that you're supposed to feel. So it should be like the entire ambience must be protected. So you go inside, you finish thinking, then you quieten down. Sairam. You see somebody, you don't have to ignore, you just say Sairam. That's it, quiet. Or that day so your conversations are kept to the minimum and more focusing on Swami and devotees. Towards God. Yeah.
Uncle, all these spiritual practices, they require a lot of sense control and it involves the five senses. But the thing is that, like, if we follow the spiritual practices, that how does it help in our worldly to achieve our
in the worldly life, when you go to work, the most important quality you need is concentration. When you take a work, other people finish the work in 2 hours, you can finish it in 1 hour. Other people grapple with so many ideas, your ideas are sharper and quicker. So what happens? A spiritual person with this concentration capability will have higher productivity, higher efficiency. Third point, other people will be doing it for what purpose? To get promotion, to get recognition, to go to the boss and all that. You are doing it because you're not bothered about all those things. So when you're not bothered about all those things and you become what? Karma yogi. You're doing more work. You're doing excellently. And people wonder, hey, hello, what's wrong with you? You're doing more. You're not necessary for you to do this. The moment the management sees you doing more things and not even expecting any results, where do you think the promotion will be going? Where do you think your recognition will become? That's why Baba said, you do my work, your entire yoga shema for this life and the next I will look after. That's what it means. This is the secret. This is what I've been telling. I've been saying repeatedly to the young adults. There is a formula to work. You don't have to work until morning to night and until cows come home, come back exhausted, totally dispirited. There is a formula to work. There, when you touch Sai wire, the wire of Satisai, you'll find an amazing way in which you can connect, get your results in the shortest period, but at the same time be happy, but dedicate time, commit to Swami, commit to his expansion. That is what we need now. That is where I find that is where the key point is. The rest will just take care by itself. But we must have the faith. For that, you must have faith. Yes, brother, Sairam, brother, I can do, brother, but, and then they give you a whole list of but things comes out where I'll finish, brother, but I will come, but, that's it. Then you find that you'll be just knocked out. The secret of life is have faith that Bhagavan will be there. You go, okay, we are boarding a flight. I don't know. I'm sure many of you have taken flights. You go to the, when you board the flight, you go to the pilot and ask, what's your license? They show me the license. How many hours have you flown? What is your capacity to take me? Do you ask these questions? You don't. You go and sit in your flight seat, take your food, watch your TV, and the pilot takes you to your destination. Takes you where? 10,000, 20,000 feet high, man. And then you, somebody whom you never trusted is taking you so high up. But then God, we are finding it difficult to trust. So what he's saying, what the point of the story is that leave it in his hands. Leave your life in his hands. Do his work, dedicate. You find concentration starting to develop. Once concentration comes, anchoring will start. You will find prioritization starts developing. Efficiency starts, productivity starts. And you'll go to work and enjoy that work, that piece of work, instead of being stressed up. You don't have to look right. You're just enjoying your entire office life and your career life will be enjoying your life, and you will be shining in your career. At the same time, after 30 years, 40 years, others will just step down, but you will step down with a whole baggage of experiences of changing and transforming people's life, at the same time transforming our life. Don't you think that is a much better life? So what they are saying is that you are the hero and the heroine of your own story. In a movie, you are the hero of your movie. So what is the story? If it's just going to be office, house, then you might as well be born as a shuttlecock. You can serve 2 badminton players. So spiritual life is all about experiencing a higher dimension of existence. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, Uncle. It makes sense, and I feel a leading inquiry of this is that I think patience is one of the most important qualities one must have. Because if you don't have patience, then it's very difficult to have faith. Because in this age where we expect everything to happen, like in 2 minutes, we want 2 minutes noodles, we want 2 minutes tea and coffee. I don't think in spirituality, we can like we need to have a lot of it, a lot of Shraddha at Saburi, right?
Yeah. So Bhagavan says one thing. In creation, the animal kingdom is moved by instinctive. That means they are moved by instincts. And instincts means very rapid, it's rapid reactions. So if you, the dog, you throw one bone, he wants 2 bones. He wants it now. He'll bark and bark if you have holding a bone. Although he has another bone, but he wants this bone. Because a dog's instinctive nature is like that. Animal instinctive nature is like that. Then he says the intelligence moves to a second level, which is becoming more rational. Rational has got the ability to become a little bit more patient than instinctive. When you're rational, you do more response because the intelligence comes inside. There's more cause effect analysis and all that. But the third highest aspect of intelligence is when it develops into intuitiveness. So from intuitiveness, you will get insights. So insights can only be coming from a patient mind. That's why a person who develops a certain element spirituality, where you do your japa, you develop patience, you will get the best. Others may get like this, but you will get the highest. But the thing is, you need to have the patience that God gives you. So so if you're going to go for very, very much, that's why today we have fasting. What is that called? Delayed gratification. You look at the picture of Ganapati, at the bottom of the picture, you find Mushikan holding the Modagam. isn't it? You see the rat holding the modaka, and he's looking at the Ganesha. That is the powerful picture where the mouse, the great Mushikan is not eating the modaga, but he's looking up at Ganapati for instruction. Can I eat? You can never find any rat in this world behaving like this. A rat will only take anything that he eats and immediately he will eat. But when you're getting the sanction of the intelligence, whether I can do it, what does it mean? The rat has got patience. The rat has got obedience, implicit obedience. So once we start developing these finer qualities, we are moving from an animal man to man to God man. This is the consciousness development that we must do. But if we are not interested to develop all these things, hey, I want now, everything I want now, immediately. Oh, I must get a job, I must get this, I must get. Then then what is the difference between the four-legged dog and the two-legged man? Both of us are having the same impulsiveness, same impatience, then except that we have got a human form, that's all, isn't it? So our software has to be changed. That's why today I've talked about Shivaratri is upgrading our software, upgrading our nature, upgrading our stature, because we need to develop ourselves from the animal man to God man. Wow. It's the highest stature of man. Once we attain that highest state, you will get everything you want. Whatever you wanted in when you were in that plate also will be God. For that, we need to have patience. We need to have perseverance. We need to have purity. These are the qualities that makes our lives useful. That is why Swami has come. Otherwise, why should Swami come?
Yeah. Uncle, and as you said that if you see the picture of Lord Shiva, Shiva has a half moon on top of his head, right? And
Yeah.
moon is the root cause of all the internal, like the five enemies, like Kama, Krodha, Lopa. And on the Shivaratri, the Shiva essence or the energy is very concentrated. So how can you use this day of Maha Shivaratri to in getting rid of all these evil qualities which the man suffers?
Yeah. So
Like
the
jealousy
point,
and
yeah, how it develops is the mind, only a higher mind can overcome a lower mind. You need a thorn to take a thorn, you see. So the higher aspects of your human potentials cannot be achieved because it is the lower mind, the lower thoughts are blocking it. So when on this day we take some precautions, some fasting, some vigilance, the lower impulses and tendencies slowly filter away. Then the higher mind, that higher aspects of our human intelligence starts developing, starts invoked, because now it's being blocked, like clouds are blocking like that. So we do this night, this mind now, the mind is now influencing. Now the mind is no more influencing this. So now this becomes filtered away, like the screen is moved away. Now we have a chance. Hey, on this night, if the screen is moved away, I can get a peep into my atmic quality. I can get a peep into my higher reality. I invoke my higher reality to overcome that lower impulses. So this is the, what we call, if you really ask me, the Islam call it the jihad. This is the real jihad that we must do. Overcoming the lower impulses by using the higher, but you're using this opportune moment to develop that. So the technology is given to us the day, the atmosphere, what ambience, the vibration of the night is utilized for the purposes to overcome that negativity that we have in us. So, but for that, we need to acknowledge in the first, I have anger, I have irritation, I have agitation. Every time my child is coming to me, I feel impatient. I should have that acknowledgement. This is the first quality we have to accept. Who said I'm angry? Who said if we keep on defending like that, then we cannot do. That's why today we have to put a mirror and see ourselves what we are, who we are. Supposing if actually, to be honest, in a good way, such family, satsang, you ask, darling, come here. What do you think? What qualities should you think I must acquire? And then she goes on and lists out a long list on a paper, then we got a problem. But if she says, no, I think you should improve on patience. Sometimes you get nasty a little bit. I want you. Okay. Then you pray to God, oh Lord, please remove my anger. I don't want to be angry. I want to be patient. So why am I patient? Because I don't see God in the other person. Now, whoever I was coming to me, I see you in him. So I develop that quality. So give me that. So this night I pray, I become vigilant, I become calm, I become the higher intelligence is invoked, and the lower impulses fade. Then you overcome. This human transformation technology now is utilized for the purposes of upgrading your system, so you become a better person. Our job is finally to become better, and finally the river must merge with the ocean.
Sir, talking about lower impulse, like they're talking about the impulses. Some of the impulses are quite harmless. Like sometimes people chit chat or like just really chit chat. But but how can we get rid of that? Like sometimes chit chatting also, somebody says that it can drain the spiritual energy, right?
Yeah. Which is why there must be a gyroscope inside. That means that there must be a general a God positioning system, GPS inside. So, for example, a friend is coming, all right? I say, hey, how are you? How are things? How's life? Okay, that's normal. I mean, we have to be normal in this world also. The point is, if we are going to be very quiet, silent, then we can't interact with the world, then something is wrong. They'll think, my God, this guy is a funny person. He doesn't speak. Not like that. We have to be normal. That's why the Saraswati Lakshmi all sits on lotus. What is lotus? Lotus grows on muddy, dirty water, but the mud and the dirt doesn't stick onto the petals, isn't it? So like that, we must live in society, but don't allow the other things to contaminate us. So people come, talk, we can talk good things, we can talk nice things, positive things, this is all good. But when it is going towards something about talking about somebody negative, or we are going to topics in something that stop it. Okay, Sairam. Okay, let's not go there. Hey, you know what? We quickly divert the subject and talk about something else. Divert the topic to something else. So like that, we should know how to steer the chit chat into something productive. That is our intelligence. We should be there. This is time consuming, this is draining, and this is unprofitable. Already. So that intelligence must be there to discriminate and now steer the conversation to something positive. That is our capability, our capacity. But if you also join the conversation and continue to spend 2 hours and the entire conversation finishes and then you find, why have I spent so much time? Why have I drained myself? Then productivity is not there. You waste a lot. I see a lot of sometimes in conversations, sometimes unprofitable conversations, we talk for so long, but it's of no use to anybody. So this type of conversations or this type of chit chat, we must have the discrimination. That can come when we start practicing these things properly.
Will these practices also help in help us achieving the Swami says, right? One should have unity of thought, word, and deed.
In fact, once you start practicing, I'll tell you, you'll find a sense of guilt coming also. You'll start finding certain things. Your system will start telling you, hey, you did wrong. Hey, why did you do that? Thing will start. The bubbling will be very loud. I'm telling you, it will come loud. Then you cannot resist it. Then you have to follow. So it's like planting the system inside. Once the voice comes inside, the voice will tell you, hey, you should have not said like that to that person. You should have been more kind. You should. Then you tell you, yesterday I'm very sorry. No, brother, don't worry, brother Saira. Okay, you see, it tells you that. Because the integration of a human personality is the single most important thing. That means you must have what you call alignment. So definitely there's an inner voice. That's why Baba said, ultimately your guru will be your conscience. Conscience is your guru.
Uncle, like for some elders, it may not be like due to their physical and some limitations, they may not be able to do all these austerities on the Shivaratri day to take, to tap into the Shiva source. So how can they, keeping their age in mind, how can they tap into that source of energy?
So elderly, okay, you can't sit there, but you can sit on a chair, whatever that you're comfortable in. For however long you can do, you do to that extent. You don't need to exert to such an extent but what I'm saying is adjust according to your capacity and capability and exert. So this Shivaratri, okay, you sat on the chair for 2 hours and then you got exhausted. Okay, fine. Next, then you slowly start going back home, practicing. Next Shivaratri, when you come, you may be able to sit for another 1 more hour extra. That's all. You keep on extending. It's not a chore because it's a joy. See, people, look, the point of the story is that it's not about fasting. It's not about like that. It's about an excitement, inner excitement, joy. So much so that you're not thinking about the food. So much so that you're not thinking about the pain. So much so that that is what it is. That is what is needed. Not to put a mental discipline. I must sit here for 2 hours. I must sit. Oh, I sat for 3 hours. That means I'm a more holy person. No, it's not like that. I think we should not have a mental state in which you put a certain discipline. It's not like this. If you're in love with something, I tell you how many hours or so you wait, isn't it? The girl has not come. You waited there 3 hours. She has not come. Then 4th hour she come. You are sitting there patiently, and then Oh, so I'm so sorry, I was caught in a very massive jam. Did you wait long? No, I just came, you say. I just came, but you waited for 4 hours. There's no impatience and everything else. How is it that you're able to do? You don't feel the pain. How you know? The joy of seeing, the joy of meeting, that joy overcomes the pain of, you are able to endure. That's why one of the most important spiritual qualities, endurance. Endurance comes because you have the wanting, that quintillon of bliss, that quintillon happiness that you want to experience, so you're willing to endure.
Yeah, Uncle. So it's very important for us to prioritize things like,
Yeah.
and as we prioritize games and sports and going out, we must also prioritize um, the spiritual practices.
Yeah.
I think that is what Swami says, that start early, drive slowly, and reach safely, right?
That's right. You see, brother, the point is, we don't need to prioritize brushing teeth, right? We don't need to. Early, I have to brush teeth. Tomorrow morning, I have to brush teeth. I have to brush teeth. Brush teeth is my entire first. We don't say all these things. It's just that now we have to get up, we have to brush teeth. That's normal thing. Brushing teeth becomes there's no austerity or tapas or anything like that. So like that, it should be like this. You're coming down to the altar and you're spending some time. Oh Lord, I'm going to work. I'm going to listen. Oh Lord, please be. See, it's a relationship that you're having. And the relationship doesn't have to have an austerity attached to that. That's why the whole idea is that finally is the bhava. It's not the lokha, it's the bhava, relationship. That relationship, unless we establish that relationship and feel that oneness, that is what that matters really. So this all the other thing is just to help us establish the relationship. Because I remember very clearly, Baba said in the story, when for me that was the breakthrough, really understanding that learning the Gita, Sanskrit, Sloka, and all that thing. And finally, all the Swamijis, Swamiji said, the Gita, Krishna turned his head and looked at Arjuna and narrated the Gita. That boy, small boy, who was listening in the front there, was crying and crying. Finally, all the Swamijis came and fell on the Swamiji's feet and said, he called that boy. Are you crying out of really you're overwhelmed by how I explained the Sanskrit slokas? He said, no, I'm crying because Krishna turned his head for so long and talked to Arjuna. His neck must be paining. No, I was crying. So Baba said, he identified with the pain of Krishna. Who will get moksha? It is that boy who identified with Krishna, or that all those people who, wanting to practice that. So it's a question of identification, relationship. The whole thing is about relationship. And that is what we should develop. That is what we should establish. And with that relationship, we are willing to go through. It's no problem. That kind of feeling we should have.
Uncle, like in the Hindu mythology, we have so many like Rama, Krishna, Ganapati, so many gods, right? So on those days, like, are these benefits not available? Like, only we have to wait only for Shivaratri to come.
No. No, it's not true, because in all the 365 days, you got Ramanami, Hanuman Jayanti, so many days, that frequency of that will be higher on that particular day. We are just tapping. That's why I use the word tapping. So at this point of time, the frequency, Shiva's frequency is higher. So that fact is, when you plug in like that, you get higher like that. So yeah, so when it comes to Ramanavami, the Ramana vibration will be higher, the Rama thing. So you move into that thing and tap like that. It's not that every other day there'll be some other Amman's festival, Krishna Jayanti, so many festivals are there. For each festival, there'll be some people with Ishtadeva, some people with connectivity. Whichever festival the idea is to tap into the thing, into that vibration. Otherwise, it'll just become a ritual. That's not the ritual, it's a tapping. So, for example, in Rama's case, there when you go, Rama, oh, so dharmic you are. Oh Lord, I also want to be as dharmic as you. You see, the whole idea is emulating the examples and trying to be like them. That's the idea. If God is so high up and we are so low, and we just keep on looking like that, then it won't be. But if that is a symbol of an ideal, and then if you can imbibe that ideal and follow that ideal and live that ideal and practice that ideal and become Rama itself, that's the idea.
Uncle, I see a couple of more queries here. So one of them being that yearning, how can we increase?
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you the simplest, for me, the simplest formula is that, very simple. My motivation, like one day I can see myself in the funeral. I can see myself. So people taking the coffin away. Mine is going to be a bit difficult because I'm tall. So 6 feet 3 inch coffin they have to take. Okay. Whatever they take, I put inside, they wrap it up and they will take it away. When I take it away, I can't take all the awards. My house is full I can't take any one of them. I can't take anything. I can't take any religion. I can't take anything. Hey, so in that state of total helplessness, what am I so screaming and yearning for 100 other things in this world? Nothing makes sense, world, isn't it? So what am I? Hey, finally it's you, la. I'm coming to you. Oh Lord, I'm coming to you. So why I must spend time, energy, effort? I do all those other things, but it is you. That is the intensity that we must have. Death is a very powerful significator of passion. Once you understand that, then you'll find there's not, then you won't work for position. Some people, when I'm the center chairman, then you work for 4 years. And after you step down, what happened, brother? When I was the center chairman, it was so, now I stepped down, I don't know. That means you're only functioning because you're the leader, or you're functioning because you're the coordinator. No, the center chairperson or leadership position is not going to give you any moksha mukti. Until we die, we have to continuously work, whether you have position or whether you have this one. You just have the passion, because what are you doing? You're doing everything and anything to redeem your life, nobody's life. So I have to exhaust my vasana, I have to exhaust my ego, I have to completely, that must be the intensity of the purpose. So this river must reach the ocean. That purpose must be strong. For example, we have the Sai 100 program. So Sai 100 program, we have been sending messages, getting more and more people to come and listen to it and be participating for Bhagwan's 100th birthday. We want more and more people to come. So now the next program is on the 16th of March at 7 a.m. The program is there on the 7th, or 7 a.m. LA time, we are having the program. So we want all of you to, once you log into that program, then you will be able to see what can you do, what can't you do, how can I participate. It's a passion. So what we now want is more and more people to feel that. That's the intensity we should now do and continue to do that. So by doing certain things like this, the mind get distracted from the other things, and we focus only on what he wants. Then we get the purity, the passion, the perseverance, all these things will start coming in, and like that, then everything will go through. So that perseverance must be there.
Uncle, like to sum it up, Uncle, you very beautifully kind of reminded us that, and that Swami addresses as Atma Suruplara. So he's like constantly reminding us that we are the embodiments of that Atma. So I think we must constantly think on that, and I think that is how we will ultimately we will realize that all this is temporary and we must go back to him.
So when Swami says Atma Swarupa, that means I am Atma. What is Atma's quality? Atma's quality, indeed, deep passion, sustainability. Atma never gives up. Atma will always give everyone. Atma will always love everybody. Atma will do everything without post opposition. Atma will diffuse matters. Atma will give light to everybody. These are the qualities of Atma. This is the quality of God. So if he's saying Atma Swarupa, means I must continuously identify with that Atma, and I behave as much as I can with like a quality. While I speak all these things, I also am aware that I got many weaknesses also within me. I have to overcome all of my personal weaknesses and personal qualities, and I'm hoping that all of you will be empowered to correct me also. So as I go, brother, I wish you would, brother, if you correct me, I'll be very obliged. I'll be also very happy, because somebody is correcting me. Because I'm interested only to reach him. Whatever said, oh, I gave a talk, 1.5 hours of talk of Shivaratri, therefore, I must be the most holy person. No, I don't. I'm just sharing with you the aspiration that what is it that is bubbling inside me is the thing that I should now try. In fact, whatever that I have said also, I must also regularly practice and make sure that I believe, because at the end of the day, we want to reach God. So the whole thing is that become passionate, don't allow the world to entertain us anymore. Because we continue to do that, we'll fritter away our time and energy. We must have that deep-rooted conviction that Swami is there with us. That is finally the ultimate objectivity of the Shivaratri. Finally, it is to give us that realization, oh my God, I have to go back, I have to go back, I have to go back.
Very nicely said, Uncle. Uncle, actually, we have one last question, if you can please answer that. Yeah, so one inquiry is that, which is very which is kind of very important, is that how do we practice surrender like on a daily basis?
So how do you know you're not practicing surrender? I will tell you that. How do you know? So the way you're not practicing surrender is very simple. Are you affected? Are you agitated? Are you restless? Are you angry? Are you upset? Okay, then you're not practicing. Then you know already. So these emotional indicators are signifying that we have not surrendered. That's all. That's all it means. So if I'm going to be upset, oh, I have not surrendered. Oh, do you know, brother? What he told me? He told me I'm stupid. And then I get very affected. Somebody said, Suresh, I think you're stupid. Then I will tell him, oh, I'm so sorry. So far, only I realized that. How did you know also? I thought that was my secret. How did you know my secret? So immediately I diffuse that. But if I keep on talking about it and doing that means I have not surrendered. Surrender is a quality in which we ourselves come to a point where we have equanimity. Whatever happens, it is Bhagavan's grace. Whatever happens, it is Swami's grace. Like today program we did. This was rushed program, right? We thought for a last minute, one day before, and suddenly, but today you see, you got 78 people. We didn't plan this. It was supposed to be impromptu planning, and suddenly we decided to do this. And suddenly something was telling me also I need to share this. But the main thing is that there are 78 people. Okay, whether this became successful or not, I don't know. But the most important thing I think is that we were all here. We shared and we surrendered. Bhagavan, we did our level best. So before I started this session, I said, Swami, I'm going to say, make sure you say what you want me to say, let it be said in the right way, let it be said, let it be heard in the right manner. So all this I say and finish and do, so that finally at the end of the day, whatever happens, okay, Swami's grace, this is Swami's grace. That surrender feeling must be there. That doesn't mean we surrender the action, by the way.
Yeah.
Action surrender. There are many people surrender action.
Yeah, I share the same feeling with you, uncle. Like, even like I was approached last minute and I thought, okay, it is Swami's will that he wants me to facilitate. So then I just surrendered myself to Swami, and then I hope I have done a good job.
No, you
Uncle,
asked, no, the questions that you were asking, I was thinking that you planned all. You see, the way you asked the questions, the manner the questions came, and all, it was all, it's as if he was the eternal orchestra. He's doing that. We are just, actually, to be honest, we are just puppets. In his drama, we are just puppets, real puppets. The more and more we realize that we are the puppets, we will become. You see, somebody once told me, and I like this phrase very much, be prepared to become his dummy piece, and you will one day become his masterpiece. So when you become his dummy piece, you will become his masterpiece. Somebody told me once. Yeah.
Uncle, actually, most of the inquiries were like, impromptu. Like, it was just based on your wonderful talk. I felt that these are the questions which would like, which everybody would like to know. And so and thank you so much, uncle, for your patience and for your wonderful explanation. And actually, we can go on and on and on and on, but unfortunately, there's like we have to have a hard stop now. But once again, uncle, from on behalf of Region 5, I would like to say thank you so much, uncle, for your time.
Thank you. And I wish everybody a very, very happy, divine, holy Shivaratri. May Bhagavan bless us to have the maximum experience. May on Saturday morning, when you come out of your Shivaratri experience, you feel a real regenerated self, really committed individual, really disciplined and wanting to aspire for something higher and something greater. And there's a kind of a funny, like Shiva Tandavam dancing within you, so that unifying the half Shiva, half Shakti within you to become a fantastic, divine, holy individuals that what Baba wants. Sai Ram, thank you so much. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, thank you so much, Brother Giridhar. Thank you so much, Uncle. It was a lovely session. And like you said, all these questions, thank you each and every participant over here. Your questions benefit us all. And it was really nice. And I just hope and pray we all become the masterpiece, like you mentioned, from dummy piece to masterpiece, and become more vigilant and utilize the best of the next 24 hours that is coming ahead. With that, we are right on time, which is exactly 9:30. Let's close with our closing prayer. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would like to thank the spiritual seekers who had requested me to ask the questions. So it was also like even I can say that there is some spirit. Hopefully, it will help me to spiritually kind of advance. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Let's close with a prayer. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam, Sairam everyone.